también para la vida, Dios tiene la manera para cambiar la situación. Hay que confiar en esto. A veces pensamos que estamos en la situación muy mala. Ya nos caemos en la trampa de la vida. Pero sabemos que Dios puede transformar nuestra situación. ¿No? El bien en el mal. Y José continuaba soñando en sus visiones cosas buenas para su pueblo. Por eso, con una manera muy...
Mình là người Việt Nam, nhưng mình có khả năng hội nhập vào trong bất kỳ một cái văn hóa nào và có khả năng làm việc trong bất kỳ một cái đất nước nào, và không có một cái sự lo sợ đáng kể nào hết, bởi vì mình có cơ hội, có khả năng và có trí tuệ để vượt qua tất cả những cái khó khăn đó.
Okay, now say that in Spanish.
Yo pienso que los jóvenes tienen fuerza, ¿no? La fuerza, inteligencia, también oportunidades. I was born and raised in a very small town that belongs to the province of Lâm Đồng, Vietnam. I got a chance to go to the States as an international student, and I went to Epworth, Iowa, to study my English and then a few cultural courses. After the English program, I went to Chicago to follow the higher education. So I went to LA. I was in the hospital where there were a lot of Mexicans and Salvadorians. They were patients in hospitals. It was difficult for me to communicate with them in Spanish. As a chaplain, I need to talk to the patients and I need to accompany them in their sickness and their problems.
Alguno de vosotros llame a los presbíteros de la iglesia. Se le acercó un oficial romano y le dijo: Señor, tengo en mi casa un criado que está en cama.
So at that moment, I was thinking of learning a new language. It was Spanish.
Where are we going?
Rio Verde.
You have to practice rolling the R's?
Sure.
So you
There's two different R's.
Oh, really?
So like you say arroz, you have to roll the R. First you say that caro.
Yeah.
Caro.
Yeah.
I told myself after my ordination, I had to go to the country that speaks Spanish. So I was ordained as a priest in Chicago. After my ordination, I had three options, but Ecuador was one of my options.
And in the northern eastern corner of Ecuador is Esmeraldas, and despite its long coastline of scenic beaches and its vast forests, it's a city in Ecuador that most tourists don't think of. Most people might visit Quito or the Galapagos, but Esmeraldas is quite well known within the local community. Back in the earlier 1500s, a slave ship from Africa destined for Peru wrecked and grounded, and thus the former slaves established a safe haven, turning into present-day Esmeraldas. And now, Esmeraldas province is more diverse, but Afro-Ecuadorians and their culture are still prevalent. In fact, the entire country itself has a little over than 1 million Ecuadorians with African descent. And in this city, where Father Javier Nying currently resides, is home to around 200,000 people. And with a smaller population, it definitely has a very homely and friendly vibe about it. How did you learn Spanish, by the way?
Okay, I learned Spanish here in Ecuador in the Catholic University for about 5 months, 2 courses.
Do you have any tips for somebody who wants to learn a foreign language?
Love the language that you're going to learn, and then you have to be active a little bit, And then you have to communicate with people, not only in the class, but also in the real life where they are. So you have to speak with people even that you know that you make some mistakes.
Pero él quiere que lo visites él.
No, tranquilo.
¿Ah?
Está bien, parce.
Ya.
Visítalo.
Mañana vas a venir, ¿no?
Mañana sí, ojalá, porque yo tengo un amigo que quiere visitar aquí y allá, pero no vengo. La casa suya, ¿usted vive allá?
Sí, allá.
Una hija ahí.
Al medio vive mi hijo,
Así es.
el varón, y aquí vive mi hija.
Me sorprendí porque usted de Colombia lleva cosas de Colombia y vende aquí. Yo pienso hay productos ecuatorianos 100%.
También vendo ecuatoriano.
Try to talk to people every day.
Hola. Despacito. Oh. Yeah, your English is better than my Spanish. Yes.
Mi español es malo. Soy malo.
Oh. And that was the Cortez family, and their family business is right in front of the church, where they also sell a tasty local street snack.
It's called corviche.
Is it pretty popular here?
It's very popular here.
It's popular because it's cheap and it's filling, with a base of mostly mashed up plantains and tomatoes wrapping around a filling of seasoned mushy fish, rolled up and fried some more. To present it, split it in half and add some sour cabbage and some kind of mayo sauce. For just 50 cents, one will fill you up. It's starchy, therefore it's heavy and rich. The best part of it though was eating something that an entire family pulls their effort together to make and sell. And this is truly a family business.
Yo quiero hablar con nosotros, pero cannot. Pero no. Yo quiero.
O sea, usted quiere hablar como nosotros.
Sí,
pero
mucho.
No puede.
Sí, no puede. Sí. Yo quiero mucho.
And despite my inabilities, I still made an effort and spent a lot of time with them in between mass services daily. The whole family is there. Mrs. Cortez's 3 sons, her daughter, and even her daughter-in-law are all present routinely to help out.
Kyle, not Carlos, no. Kyle, yeah. I really want to converse with them at a deeper level, but I can't. I don't know how. I really want to converse. I should have studied more Spanish.
I am so sorry, Mrs. Faura. And since we're already on the topic of food,
The Ecuadorian food is very, very rich.
what looks like chips are actually fried plantains. Are you noticing a trend or a pattern here? Plantains are a staple. People eat them every day. And for this treat called balón, consisting of mashed up plantains and some cheese mushed together into a ball. But don't forget the slow cooked pork and its aroma blowing down the street, and more smashing and mushing all the ingredients together. A delicate broth is added to moisten the final touches, and it's rolled into an even rounder ball. This was so juicy, savory, and the pork really gave it a flavor that didn't allow the plantains to dominate. And for more food anywhere you go, really, local markets should be on your list. The central one by the harbor is certainly no exception. You really get to see the local diet and what's popular from a specific region. Blood clams seem to be a staple source of cheap protein here. The port here is also another great place to catch a glimpse of local life. Fishermen returning home from a night's catch, and kids catching fish by the docks. But let's go back to the market. And of course, being so close to the ocean, Esmeraldas enjoys a bounty of sea catches and seafood right off of its shores. The fish market here is vast, but not too chaotic. I don't know what I was expecting, really. I've been to many fish markets, but I definitely wasn't disappointed. Fish are quite affordable here, one of the cheaper sources of protein, like the blood clams. A few dollars can go a long way, and fortunately for Father Javier, he actually enjoys eating fish. But what else does he eat in Ecuador?
I eat a lot of eggs every day. Eggs. And some noodles or like canned food too. Yeah. Fish.
Well, are you sure you want to do that? You should save it. You should save it for yourself because it's something. Because it's a gold. It's more valuable than gold.
Yeah, many dishes like phở, like cá kho tổ, also like canh chua, my favorite food too. Yeah, but something with nước mắm and
You ran out of nước mắm, right? We ate our last noodle meal together, and you used the last bit of your nước mắm. You can't get nước mắm here in Ecuador?
no,
And that's it now. There's
That's
no more
it.
nước mắm for you.
no more nước mắm.
What are you gonna do now?
Because you came to visit, so I want to take you to that place. It's a little special. So I don't have like a lot of chances to eat like luxury food like that. I know it's a little expensive, but once in a while, like there's some visitors coming from afar. So I want to introduce them with some kind of authentic food or special food here in this area.
Right, that crab meal was definitely life-changing. Absolutely. It was probably one of the most memorable meals I've had in a long time. Definitely one of the best meals I had in a long time. Definitely most unique, different flavors, but excellent.
As a priest, I need to say mass, right? Usually 3 times, yeah? I have to say 3 masses every day. One mass at the high school.
And the mass starts rather early, so Father Javier is up before the crack of dawn and makes his way to the local school. Remember, religion is not just religion here, it's a part of culture and education.
Mass, one of the communities. We have 5 communities around here.
So Father Javier is responsible for 5 other chapels around Esmeraldas. These are more remote villages. Some of them are on islands, some of them are rather far away, and they all have neighborhood chapels, but they don't have their own priests.
We have mass for them like every week. Some chapels, I have mass for them every 2 weeks.
Queremos dejar los problemas allá para purificarnos, santificarnos. Aunque la iglesia tampoco perfecta, hay también una manera de corrupción. Antes tiempo de Jesús, ¿no? Los judíos tienen la iglesia para vender cosas, ¿no? Dentro de la iglesia, templo. No vender palomas, ovejas, vacas y todo para ofrenda de la iglesia, ¿no? Por eso causa como caos, ruido, bulla a todos lados. Jesús llegó.
And afterward we have like we share a little food and with children, some candy, some cokes like that. And so this is a part of the ministry.
One of the missionary aspects of Father Javier's job is to provide food for impoverished communities. Fundraising, volunteer work, and helping to feed people are all related aspects of his work. The children here really loved seeing the drone, and closer to Esmeraldas, in fact right next to the church, is the food pantry. Father Javier helps raise money to buy fresh produce, and these ladies volunteer their time to allocate and distribute free veggies to families in need.
And then another mass at 7:30 in my church here.
As the final person leaves the church, Father Javier locks up the church by himself and calls it a night after a late dinner, and the whole process begins again every day. He's been doing this for 4 years now, but this religion has been a part of this region for hundreds of years.
The religion is not religion itself, but it's just part of culture, yeah? And people here, I think that they are Christians in their blood. They live it like a part of their life. So it doesn't mean that to fulfill religious practice to be Christians, but to live as a part of their culture.
You don't feel like you're an outsider?
No. And I try not to be feeling like that, because I know some people that has that feeling because like an outsider, but that really matters to your living, because you try to look at people as strangers, so you try to be one of them.
That's the only way we survive. But if you don't want to be friends, very difficult. Because if you're afraid of them, you don't approach them, you don't speak to them, and then they look at you like strangers. But you come to them and speak to them and like a friend, so they accept you more, and you accept them more. That's it.
And that's one way that you've been able to live here for this long, comfortably, in a sense, right?
Yes, I have some close friends. Sometimes I hang out with Carlos. I met him when I was walking on the street, and he asked me, "Are you Filipino?" I said, "No, I'm Vietnamese."
And on one of those days that I was there, Carlos invited us over to his beautiful home to meet his wonderful family. I was really impressed with how modern and how luxurious the property was, but more impressed with the lunch, to be honest. They really fed us well. The appetizer was a mix of seafood ceviche that was so delicious. I'm drooling a little bit right now just talking about it. There was even a duck somewhere in there. Oh, there it is. And again, despite a very limited communication, this family was so hospitable and welcoming, and it was a very memorable afternoon. And it even got more memorable because Carlos wanted us to see his backyard. And what a backyard it was. At first, it was mostly just Carlos with a machete weeding his garden in the best possible way ever.
It's kind of like that show Survivor.
And then I realized that this was our dessert and we had to work for it. In fact, Carlos's garden was a forest of ripe fruits awaiting for us to pick them from the trees and just to devour them. And that's exactly what we did. From sugarcane to tangerines to ripe cacao pods to papayas. It was a fruit feast among friends, and I'm very happy to have been a part of it. And just like how I'm very happy to have this experience thanks to Father Javier Nying, and I just don't mean the experience of trekking through the relative jungle and eating fruits, I mean this entire experience of Ecuador and of life, of what you've seen and what you didn't see, and all the experiences and time spent together. Gracias, Padre. Cảm ơn cha rất nhiều.
That's the only person that didn't ask me, are you Chinese? So I got to know him a little bit, and then we became friends.
My brother.
Oh, yeah? So,
My brother. What's the best thing about being a priest?
Being a priest, you have a chance to meet with different kinds of people. You can talk to the lowest class, poorest people here. And also you can talk to the higher class, right? And you also learn from them a lot. So that's a great part of being a priest, because you get to talk to a lot of people around you. Some people have their own problems that also share with you. By that sharing, you know the reality of the city, of the people over here. So very, very interesting that you can walk with all walks of life here.
¿Cómo está? ¿De dónde viene?
Buenos días.
Are you planning to live here forever?
Actually,
A few years ago, did you ever think that you'd be here? Like in Ecuador? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you ever thought about your life being here like this?
no, I know.
Oh, you wanted this?
Yeah, when I first came, I know that the assignment is gonna be long, for life.
For life even?
Yes.
You're ready to accept it for life?
Sure.
The rest of your life in Ecuador?
Cha có thể có cái sự đề nghị hay là ý kiến gì mà cho trẻ ở Việt Nam hay là người trẻ trên khắp thế giới không?
Các bạn trẻ thì thường có sức khỏe, đúng không? Rồi trí tuệ, rồi có nhiều cơ hội. Thì mình nghĩ rằng là cần phải học hỏi nhiều, đúng không? Mình không có gò bó mình vào trong một cái môi trường nào nhất định, đúng không? Mình phải mở mang trí tuệ, cũng như là mở mang cái con tim của mình, đúng không? Để học hỏi ở những cái nơi khác nữa, đúng không? Có thể là mình dám dấn thân đi vào những cái con đường khó khăn hơn, đúng không? Rồi không ngại vượt qua cái ranh giới của văn hóa, đúng không? Của văn hóa truyền thống, rồi ngôn ngữ. Bởi vì mình còn có sức khỏe, có trí tuệ và có khả năng, có cơ hội. Thì nếu mà mình có cơ hội để học hỏi một cái văn hóa mới, một cái ngôn ngữ mới và sống trong một cái môi trường mới, thì mình cố gắng làm cái điều đó. Mình nghĩ rằng là đi một ngày đàn học một sàng khôn. Thì mình đi tới đâu, mình học hỏi cái văn hóa, cuộc sống của con người, thì nó bồi bổ và nó làm cho cái đời sống của mình nó trở nên giàu có hơn trong cái lối suy nghĩ cũng như cách giải quyết những cái vấn đề trong cuộc sống của mình. Thì đó là một trong những cái mà mình thấy rằng cái giới trẻ ngày hôm nay thì cảm thấy rất là thoải mái với những cái phương tiện mình sẵn có trong gia đình, trong cái nơi mình đang sống. Nhưng mà mình phải chứng minh cho thế giới thấy rằng là mình là người Việt Nam.
What is it that you want people to know about your life in Ecuador?
I think that as a humble missionary, right? Just try to walk with people. Just try to accompany with people where they are, right? So that's the very important thing for me, that I try to be one of the people here, and I feel comfortable with myself among people that not Vietnamese, right? The people that I try to service, I try to serve, right? Or try to walk with them. That's it. It's a humble way of being with people.
And it just so happens to be in Ecuador.
Right. obligaciones, sino para poner nuestra pasión, nuestro amor, sacrificio, servicio en lo que hacemos.